Hi guys, Jake here. Just wanted to give you a quick update on what's been going on with Power Reviews before I dive into what I really want to talk about today. Now that the wedding is done and we're back from the honeymoon, we've had some time to recover. I have gotten back into editing for the year 2 finale. The current plan is for that to be released later in the fall. Right now, there is still a lot of editing, a lot of effects, still some more filming left to do that will be covering both parts of the extended version of the Legendary Battle. So that will be two episodes to round out year 2. And that'll be coming out at the earliest end of October, at the latest Thanksgiving weekend. It may end up basically being a 1-year anniversary of the Legendary Battle when it actually comes out. As far as year 3, I do intend to release the premiere of year 3 of Power Reviews towards the end of December, right in time for the holidays, which will make more sense once you know what's going on with that. So that's what's happening with Power Reviews right now. Still a lot of work left to do, a lot of stuff to figure out in terms of scheduling. I've been doing a lot of writing for year 3. But what I really want to talk to you guys about is it's tied into why I started doing Power Reviews. And that goes back about 3 years. You see, and now this isn't how I came up with Power Reviews. I came up with Power Reviews over the course of getting into thatguywiththeglasses.com and Linkara's history of the Power Ranger videos. That's where I first came up with the idea, along with various fan fiction ideas that have been flowing around in my head for a long time. So those ideas came to me in early 2012, and I actually wrote the first episode in about February or March of 2012, but didn't do anything with it. And I kind of almost expected it to just sort of never turn into anything. You know, just one of those ideas that you write down at some point, but then you don't really follow up on, which, you know, we all have plenty of those. But as far as why I actually started it, that ties into the summer of 2012, so about 3 years ago. I was in a bit of a dark place, in that I wasn't doing well professionally, financially, emotionally. I was very stressed out, filled with anxiety over the fact that I wasn't really doing... I wasn't where I wanted to be in life. And part of that is because when I graduated, I graduated from good school, lots of scholarships, did well in my classes, and I graduated with 2 bachelor's degrees, one in physics and one in electronic arts and communications, which is basically animation and video. Plus, I did a bunch of theater over the course of college and was very successful with that. I did more shows than any other student I've known. So I was very active with college, and I felt like I was fairly successful at college. And so, you know, I was sort of thinking that upon graduation, you know, I was going to be getting out there, finding a good job, and, you know, could really follow my passions. But unfortunately, I graduated in fall of 2008. I literally got my second bachelor's like 2 months after the stock market crash, and there were no jobs. I applied dozens of places and was having a great deal of trouble finding work in what I was looking to do, which at that time was going to be film and television production. I really wanted to get into that. I was burnt out after having done the physics graduate program for a year and finding that research was not where my head was at. And I was still interested in potentially teaching physics someday. I still enjoyed physics, and I enjoyed the idea of teaching physics. But I was burnt out on that physics program, and I didn't really want to go into research. And so when I graduated, I focused very much on the electronic arts, which was, you know, trying to get into film, television production, animation. I applied dozens of places. Really wanted to get out to Los Angeles because that was where I had an animation internship back in summer of 2007. Really enjoyed it. I got to work on a Nicktoon, Attacking the Power of Juju. And I couldn't get any traction on that. So after 4 months of living with my parents, just applying for jobs, I moved back up to where Marissa was living. That was when we moved in together because I didn't want to stay away from her. And so that's when we got our place together. I kept applying for those jobs. I tried doing a little bit of theater work on the side, and I ended up falling and hurting myself and wasn't able to continue doing theater work for about a month or so. So I had to get another job to try and help out around the house. And I never really stopped trying to build up my portfolio, trying to, I was really focusing on the animation aspect of things for a good long while. And I just kept building my portfolio and just taking whatever jobs I could find. But even when I started looking for jobs in the area, I still couldn't find what I was looking for. There were no film and television or animation jobs really locally. The closest place was Blue Sky, which was off in Connecticut, and they're pretty high end. And I wasn't getting in there. And I wasn't finding anything when I started looking, wasn't finding anything that really applied to my physics degree either. Everyone who was looking for someone with a physics degree was looking for someone with a graduate degree, which I did not get. So I just took any little job I could find for quite some time, and years went by, kept building that portfolio, kept taking whatever little job I could find, but I never was getting any traction, and I felt like I was spinning my wheels. And that sort of came to a head summer of 2012. My savings were starting to run low. I was doing sales during that time, and I was getting burnt out on all the networking aspects of that. And the thing that happened that really shook me was my grandmother passed away, Bubby, who I may have mentioned in a previous video. Very vibrant woman. She would come to visit us every year. She lived in Miami, and she would spend 6 months out of the year as an entertainment director at a spa, and then she would drive around the country the other 6 months of the year visiting all four of her daughters, which includes my mother. And she would spend time with us both on her way heading out and on her way coming back. And so I would spend a month or two with her every year, and she and I got very close, especially since she would often visiting in the summer when I wasn't in school. And, as she got older, driving around turned to flying. And during the summer I was at home looking for jobs, she wasn't able to fly across the country to visit her other two daughters. And at the end of that summer, before I moved in with Marissa, I flew down with her to Miami to keep an eye on her for a couple weeks to help her move back into her home. And I had really hoped that I would be able to, be successful enough that at some point I could take a vacation down there and visit her again. And I did take a vacation to do Power Morphicon in 2010, and then again in 2012. But I didn't make it back down to Florida. And she fell ill during the summer of 2012. And after 5 weeks, she passed away. And that shook me very hard. And that was when I really took a hard look at my life and realized that I couldn't keep just spinning my wheels relying on other people, on these other places to make my life work for me. relying on someone out in LA looking at my resume or looking at my portfolio and calling me up. I know that it would still be a possibility, but I knew I couldn't rely on that and just keep doing these little jobs just to get by. So what I decided to do was I decided that I had to do something that would make me happy, that would have made Bubby happy because she loved to see me happy. I always got the impression that life was about being a good person and living a good life. Was always what I got from Bubby. So I looked at what I really wanted. I wanted to make a TV show. I wanted to work on Power Rangers. And that was just still so far off because, Power Rangers was on the other side of the world and I couldn't get out there. And I didn't have, the savings to get out there. I hadn't built up the nest egg that I was hoping maybe I might be able to build up if I got, a good job that would allow me to move out there. And that wasn't happening. So I decided that I just had to make my own show. I just had to do what I wanted to do from where I was. So that's when I decided, you know what? I came up with this idea for a review show where I get to talk about Power Rangers all the time, which is something that I really enjoy doing. And eventually, that's right, I had the idea before I actually started releasing the show, I would get to be a Power Ranger. It should be a dream come true. And I would be doing it on my terms. So I buckled down, and I filmed, and I edited, and I got out that first episode. And then the next week I got out the next episode. And while I was doing that, I shot out a few new applications locally, and I got my first 9-to-5 job, just doing data entry, and that was fine. I could go there, turn my brain off, and not worry about it. And when I came home, I was working on the thing that I wanted to work on. And that year, I just pumped out work, and I felt like I was doing something with my life that was unique and important and was making me happy. It was stressing me out, but it was making me happy. And over the course of that year, I pumped out 40 episodes. And I pumped out 12 more by the end of that following year. So by the end of 2013, we'd done 52 episodes. By the end of 2013, we'd done 50 episodes, which was crazy. And a few months later, I got a new job, a different temp job, where I was no longer just doing data entry in little space with a whole row of other people. I was actually a project coordinator. Actually using some of my skills with Excel, being valued as an individual, as opposed to just one in a long line of people. And so I was getting a little bit more work satisfaction, and I got in touch with Seamus Kelly, started writing screenplays. We're still writing those. So now I'm working at a job where I'm actually valued as an individual as opposed to just a cog in a machine, and I'm still working on this television show, which not television but a series for the internet. And it's getting more complex. It's becoming more of a more like a television show than a web series, in scope. And we're building up a following. You guys have been great for supporting us on Patreon. We love that so much. And and then I got into the Power Force, where I'm able to get direct feedback from where I managed to get some inside info from Saban Brands, which is great. I got to go to Power Morphicon again, and this time I actually have my own panel for my show, which was awesome. We got to have actual Power Rangers in our series. Cameo roles by the actors, yes, but these things that I so much wanted out of my life, I was making happen on my own terms. And The reason that I'm talking about this is that, you see, on top of all that, I was also feeling happier, feeling more secure. And not only was I doing better as far as professionally, I was starting to actually, have regular work, regular jobs, because I was feeling more comfortable in who I was and where my life was headed. I was feeling more comfortable with Marissa and I and where our lives were headed. And that's why, in between year one and year two of Power Reviews, I proposed. Because I finally felt like I was ready to at least put myself on the path to be a husband. And so, 3 years later, from this really dark space, I've produced 78 episodes, been engaged, I'm now married to the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And today, September 16th, the 3-year anniversary of Bubby passing away, I was offered and accepted my very first full position with benefits as a physics teacher. I'm going to be a physics teacher at a private school. And they want me to do videos for them to help with marketing. They want me to kickstart an astronomy club, do video work with the students, and also revitalize their theater program, which has basically been defunct for the past 50 years. All the things that I went to college to do, I'm getting an opportunity to do. And it's amazing that I would accept this job on the 3-year anniversary of Bubby passing away. So there you go. That's why I got into Power Reviews, because I wanted to make my life happen. And now it's happening. I'm 30 years old now, married, and I'm finally living the life I've been wanting to live. And I've done it on my terms. And you can't really beat that. It's been a crazy 3 years building myself back up. And I really want to thank all of you for following us along these last 3 years. I know technically we premiered in October, but for me, thank you. Because you guys have helped keep me going when it's been tough, knowing that you guys have been watching and enjoying and supporting us and have been so happy for us every step of the way. So thank you. And now you understand why September 16th is special. So, yeah, I'll see you guys at the next live reactions to the next Dino Charge episode. And I hope to have more news as I start working my filming and editing schedule around the new job, which will take up more of my time due to grading, things like that. But I'm going to have several weeks off during winter break to work on the year 3 premiere and get year 3 going. I will also have several weeks off in March to continue with that, and 3 months off during the summer. So year 3 may be a little slow getting going, but I'm gonna have a lot of time to be able to work on the things I love doing, and I'm going to be able to also do things I love to do as part of my job. So thank you once again, And until next time, farewell, Ranger fans, and let the power protect you.